Most people, most people will never know what real power looks like. Most people will never feel what it's like to run the system instead of getting run by it because they've been conditioned to move like everyone else, to believe there's only one way to win because they've been trained to chase a version of success that was never theirs to begin with. But you, I see you. If you're here at 4 a.m., you already know. You're built different, wired different. You move when others sleep. And here, we don't hesitate. We don't wait. We don't follow. We build. We execute. We separate. My beautifully blessed people, this is Raw 4, where faith is the foundation, discipline is the weapon, and execution is the proof. Because the discipline they fear, that's the strength we build. So that's right. If you're here with me at 4 a.m., tap in. Tap in. Let's get busy because you're already ahead. But don't get too hyped because I want to ask you something. What happens when the weight of your own dishonor is too heavy to ignore? What happens when you break your own word so many times that even you don't believe yourself anymore? See, most people don't fail because of lack of skill, talent, or intelligence. They fail because their system is corrupt. They dishonor themselves with every excuse. They dishonor God by moving without faith. They dishonor others by making promises they never intend to keep. And when you dishonor everything connected to you, your system erases itself. Because without honor, you can't build, you can't execute, you can't separate. That's why today's lesson, today's message is non-negotiable, because honor, that's the firewall that protects your system. So let's break it down. Once again, the core message, honor. We throw these words out so loosely today. They're so big. Honor is a security protocol. Dishonor doesn't just erase you. It weakens everything tied to you, because this is bigger than just you. When you compromise honor, you don't just lose yourself. I'm telling you from experience. You weaken your foundation, your name, and your impact. Creators, and we are all creators, don't just uphold honor, they make it law in everything they build. Because honor ain't just about respect, it's about protection. It is the firewall that keeps your system from being corrupted. You might ask, corrupted by what, Jeff? Corrupted by weakness, doubt, or outside influence. Without honor, your execution is always vulnerable. Once again, my beautiful people, we play with these words a lot, but it's really not a game. It's not a game for our lives. No honor equals system erasure. You delete your ability to execute. No execution, no movement. No movement, essentially, You cease. You cease to exist even as you exist. Let that hit. Honor is the firewall of execution. You either secure your system or you expose yourself to failure. Maintainers move without honor. Operators, they secure the system. Creators define it. Where do you stand? No honor, no access. If you can't hold yourself accountable, you will never access higher levels of the system. Now let's break it down, because I believe there's 3 levels of honor. If you're following on the Do-You rules. Really important. Really important. This is your life, everyday life. Let's take care of your life. 3 levels of honor. The first one, honor to God and the mission. Your root system, God, is either secured or compromised. If you aren't connected to the source, you're a glitch waiting to happen. Honor God by strengthening your root. Learn God through direct experience, not just words. God is the source and the light. At the top, there is only one. I'm not telling you which one. You choose who your one God is. But I believe without that choice, your foundation is weak. If you don't honor God first, your system is compromised before it even boots up. Creators. And we're on the path to becoming Do-You creators. We don't just follow the system. We build it. And the root is always their foundation. God is root. The second, honor to self. Never lie to yourself. Every self-betrayal is a virus that corrupts your system. If you want to lie to yourself right now by saying, nah, Jeff, I never lie to myself, then I promise you, as someone who has made a living of lying to themselves, you got a lot of work to do. Now pay attention. Having deceitful, lustful, or even envious thoughts, coveting, or any one of the sins you could think of, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. What matters is what you choose to associate with, and it is your choice. Your thoughts are just like passing clouds. What matters is that you embody, vibrate, and manifest through your words, your presence, and your deeds. Self-erasure happens when you dishonor your own word. Your system shuts down because you programmed it to fail. Honor. Honor means staying solid in your own system. Your word is law. If you can't trust yourself, you can't execute. Operators maintain the system, but only those who honor themselves without compromise rise to creators. Lastly, honor to others. Let's be clear. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. No one is entitled to be liked or loved. Save that. But because I am like you and you are like me, we move in honor. Hear what I'm saying to you. Dishonor to you is dishonor to myself. Not just because I must become dishonorable internally to display it to you externally, but because we are all created in the same image. When I dishonor my brethren, I dishonor the creator at large. And I don't dishonor the root like that. But let's not get it twisted because this is easily twistable. Honor does not mean tolerating disrespect. Don't even try it. It doesn't mean pleasing everyone. It means being unshakably real, even when it hurts, and it will hurt. A corrupted network spreads viruses. If you allow dishonor into your space, you let the infection spread. Creators don't just honor others, they establish the systems where honor is the only option. We don't trade honor for validation, not for crowds, not for vanity. Never. Never. My beautiful people, it's raw for story and perspective time. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to judge. I want to give it to you raw, and I'll focus on me. And let me just be real and raw all the way. I failed myself before. I have failed myself before, countless times actually. I've told myself I would execute, and I didn't. I've looked in the mirror, and I felt the weight of my own dishonor. And I'm going to be real again. Hurts. Hurts beyond words. Not just a little, not just on the surface. I mean, it really, really hurts. And I ain't talking about the superficial qualifiers, the job, the career, the money I didn't and still don't have at certain levels. I'm talking about looking at myself and knowing deep down that I was essentially erasing myself, seeing the damage in real time. Like, look at you. Look at what you're doing. Look at the impact or the lack of it. Look at what you're missing. Look at who you are hurting. And the worst part, realizing that the person I was hurting the most was me. I was drowning in distractions, drinking to escape, overworking to avoid the silence, justifying every little way. I was compromising my own integrity. And for what? Like, for what? To fit in? To blend in with the maintainers? Really to forget who the fuck I was supposed to be and let go of my priorities? But here's the truth no one tells you. Here's the truth. Even though it hurts, moving from self-dishonor to self-honor, it's actually easier than you think. It's not some long, drawn-out struggle. It's really one choice, one decision. It's one shift in perspective. But the fallout from dishonor, it ain't just physical, emotional, or spiritual destruction. It's really what happens when you dishonor your own name, your family name, the legacy you're supposed to uphold. When I finally realized that I wasn't just failing myself, I was failing who I represent, who I protect, and who I provide for. And as a man, I knew I had to change. I had to restore my firewall. I had to do something because honor ain't just about moving at your highest level. It's about making sure your name carries weight. And I was too selfish to see that. But clearly I'm here, and we can't do it anymore. So yeah, I did all the cliche things. I made excuses. I justified delays. I told myself I'll do it tomorrow. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But each time, I lost a little more respect for my own word. And when your own word holds no weight, you are nothing. Straight up. I had a decision to make. Stay in a cycle of self-erasure or rebuild. It was time to make my word unbreakable. Now, how'd I do it? Wasn't with a pill, but it was easy money, my G. I tied my words to prayer, to higher purpose, to a higher calling, to my legacy. And that changed everything. I mean, everything. Every fucking thing, my G. Now, my execution, my discipline, my results, they don't just serve me. They serve everything I stand for. All I am as all is me. And I am like you, no different. If you've ever felt the pain of betraying yourself, today is the day you stop. Not tomorrow. Now. That's my personal perspective. Let me take a moment to check the chat. Where you at, chat? Chat ain't here yet, but it's coming. And my beautiful people, before we get into the story of God, everyday life is worth living. Everyday life is worth living. And everyday life is worth living even more when everyday life is worth living as you. And you believe that everyday life is worth living as you. As you, how you are. I keep trying to reinforce that we throw these words out like it's cool, but they stand for something because you stand for something. And the first thing to do in you while we go through these words and these laws is to reinstall the power in you for you. It is my faith and belief with all honor and integrity I can as just a regular dude that when you reinstall these components to yourself, for yourself, as yourself, when you learn and teach yourself, God, faith, honor, loyalty, you cannot lose. It's less about outcomes and more about the choices we begin to consciously make for ourselves, the acceptance of ourselves, the love for ourselves. And when we do these things and we recreate, when we rule how we move, when we don't let the system run us, we become undeniable. And when we are undeniable for ourselves, everything around us enhances. Everything about you, as it gets bigger, has a bigger impact to all that's around you and the reciprocity of life. It can't help but return it. It's God's promise. You are creators. Let's get into a God story today. And it's very traditional if you follow the book, and one that I think holds massive weight if you consider words in this way. The idea of God, faith, honor, loyalty means different things to different people in different ways when we contextualize it. So when we get into God's story today and we talk about Peter and denial, and when Peter denied Jesus, we're going to talk about this. Try to really immerse yourself in what the words God, faith, honor, and loyalty could mean even centuries ago, or especially centuries ago, even a few decades ago. Because that really helps to contextualize. I believe when we're stuck in our own abundance and overindulgence of this dopamine immediacy of life, because everything is so on-demand given and personalized, you try to wrap these words in today's context, the weight of it is different. So you read a story, but I try to imagine if I was Peter and Jesus was standing in front of me. And I assure you, we all believe, nah, I wouldn't do that. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But you won't know until you're in it. And that's the whole thing about honor. If you don't practice honor regularly, when the time comes, you're going to fold. You're going to fold. So even Peter, who, if you didn't know, was one of Jesus's closest disciples, had a moment of dishonor. 3 times he denied knowing Jesus. And why? To save himself. 3 times he chose fear over loyalty. Well, what happened? The moment he realized his betrayal, straight up cried like a baby. He was left in his dishonor. He was left to appreciate, damn, what did I just do? Now, Peter was given grace and a chance to redeem himself, but the lesson is clear. Honor isn't tested when it's easy. It's tested when it costs you something. When the pressure hits, do you fold? Or do you stand firm in what you claim to believe? Words are deep. Let's transition into the analogy strategy for today. The analogy for today is called the bridge of honor. Immerse yourself. Close your eyes. Draw it out. Think of yourself in this situation. Imagine you're walking across a long wooden bridge over a cannon. The bridge represents your honor. Every promise you make to yourself strengthens the planks beneath your feet. Every commitment you uphold reinforces the ropes holding it together. Now picture this. Every time you break your word, another plank disappears. Another rope snaps. You might not feel it at first, but over time, your bridge starts to weaken. And one day when you try to cross to the next level, there's nothing there. You fall, not because you were incapable, but because you dismantled your own foundation. Your honor isn't just about today. It's about making sure your bridge is strong enough to carry you when it really matters. My beautiful people, we believe that when left to display who we believe we are, we're going to snap into action. But I'm here to tell you and remind you, life doesn't work that way. If you don't practice honor on the regular, meaning by the moment, meaning all the time, if it isn't the fabric of how you do you, when you're called to display honor, you won't know what to do. You will revert into your default programming. You will respond how you always respond. Because the truth is, the pressure of life is all the time. And until you can appreciate what that means, what everyday life means, what it is to have rules and laws and a fabric and an identity that moves you towards honor, It's not about recovering. You won't know what to do, and you will break. And somehow, because you aren't honorable, you're going to believe it's not your fault. But I got you. That's why I'm here. I'm here because I assure you, I've been as unhonorable as you can possibly be. The way I've been as faithless and godless as I could possibly be. And with great humility and acceptance, I say to you, it took that for me to pivot, make my 180, and reprioritize everyday life. It all matters because of who I am, what it represents, and what it means. Let's get into some execution. We have to understand, especially on the Do You rules, if we're going to do this together, and I need you, you need me, and I need you more than you need me, but I'll be here for you in whatever way I can. If it isn't actionable, we don't need it. So here we are talking about honor, and here's our call to action. Consider this a 21-day honor lock-in. It's the preparation for war mode, right? Honor ain't something you talk about. It's something you prove. And for the next 21 days, let's do exactly that. Let's begin a 21-day honor lock-in. Pre-war mode training, if you would. Every single day, you got to do work. Please don't try to avoid the work. Document, write down how you honor yourself, God, and others. Every day, identify one way you can refine your honor. Be an adult. At the end of the 21 days, you should be able to look in the mirror and know your word is law. This is your chance. This is your chance to separate, to leave behind dishonor, to build an unshakable system within yourself. But believe, this is only phase one. Because on April 1st, we don't just lock in honor, we take it to full-scale execution. If you can't hold honor, you won't survive war mode. This is where we see who's really about it. I want to talk about real quick the seriousness I have about honor in everyday life. And that I believe if you're looking for your promotion, if you're looking to lose the weight, if you're looking to start the business, if you're looking to find God, if you're looking to expand your relationships in every and any aspect in life, it comes down, as always, to the mundane, the little things. And you may see this and hear it and just be like, yo, Jeff is out of his mind. But when I talk about the fabric and that it must become who you are, I'm going to give you a very everyday life story from someone who's been married for 18 years, together for 25, going on 26. 2 kids, getting up at 3 a.m., recording, working my 9 to 5, and trying to do something. As part of my recovery process, I've talked about this before, I like to take very warm baths. I put in some Epsom salt, some bubbles. It helps me immensely, especially after leg day. Yo, it's hard. I'm not here to front. It's hard. So recovery for me is big. Now my wife, she just is OCD about the bathroom. She's like cleaning it every week. She deep cleans it every week. Like it's the filthiest thing you've ever seen. She cleans that bathroom like it's a Grand Central bathroom. If you've ever been to Grand Central Station in New York, just imagine the millions of people who go in and out of the bathrooms and what they do in it. And I don't even want to go into the nastiness of public bathrooms, especially in New York City. But we're talking about honor and how I've dishonored my wife and my children for years, even simply by just not being there, not showing up, and not being this version of myself. Consider that. when we talk about your name and your legacy, that you are surrounded by people. And if you're a man and you take masculinity and manhood and protection and providing seriously, we dilute the providing process. This social view of accepting that men make massive amounts of money and provide that way, I think you should go get it, absolutely. But providing, a man also provides with his imagery and how he represents his family. And what my face looks like, how I wear honor on my face. This is what I'm talking about. When you look at me, we talk about becoming unfuckwithable. It's not because I'm trying to win some contest or parade around as the most unfuckwithable person in life across all social media platforms. That's a good thing if you want to go get it. But when I stand firm and I got my mask on, I provide a mask on, I provide strength, I provide honor, I provide protection. Not to say I'm the toughest, but it's going to take a lot. You got to go through me. My family is everything. I had to learn that. Imagine that you could be doing that, drifting so far away from the honor of your family, from the legacy of your family, that the protection you're supposed to provide, you're providing. You're not just providing dollars. I'm providing protection. That when somebody looks at my daughter or my son or my wife, they're like, oh, they were him? All right, cool, let me think about it. And it's not that I'm the biggest and the baddest. It's just that I definitely stand out in a way where it's like, I don't know if I really want that. So I'll go somewhere else. And I do that simply by being honorable. I honor my body. I honor my mind. I honor my spirit. I honor my thoughts. So that when I'm out and about, I'm all the way locked in. I understand the threats. You understand? I understand what's around me. I understand what could impact. And dude, my beautiful people, my children and my wife, they can have an experience that changes them forever. If I'm not there to protect, to provide protection, we've seen it. It could be something that changes somebody's life forever that they never recover from. And imagine that I'm not there, my greatest fear. So you want to provide as a man, you want to provide protection. So I can articulate myself in my presence, my energy, how I stand there like, yo, I'm here, they're with me. How I speak and articulate myself, I know what I'm talking about. That I'm available for them whenever they call me, no matter what. I have no distractions. I don't care who's texting me, who's calling me, who's emailing me. When they call on me, everything stops. I got to put myself in that position. Whatever the sacrifice, you don't have to like it. I'm not even saying you got to do it. I'm saying that's how I roll. I'm saying that's honor. So my wife, marriage is hard, right? Marriage is hard. I didn't always live like this. There was a time where essentially I was able to tell you how many days we didn't argue or fight or have conflict. If you're out there and you're in a relationship, can you feel me? Can you relate? It's hard sometimes. You're trying to build, You're both growing, you're both expanding. You've been together for 25, 26 years. You ain't the same person. You've been through some things. You've seen different things. You've seen things separately. You've seen things together. You've done things separately. You've done things together. Come on, we know what we're talking about here. It's hard. So the honorable thing for me to do was figure out, how do we stop this friction? How do I reflect and realize I'm the one causing most of the friction? If I fix myself, I can probably fix 90% of the situations in my marriage. That's just real. So when we talk about being about it, my wife is like, yo, I deep clean these bathrooms every week. I deep clean these bathrooms every week. Our bathroom has a stand-up shower and a tub where I can sit in, right? So naturally, my Epsom salt, my bubbles and all that, the bathrooms can't stay clean. It's not Grand Central, like I said, but the bathroom just can't stay clean because I got to use it. Now, I also try to be honorable in how I use it. I'm not there trying to make the bathroom dirty. It just happens. But that's some of the things we could fight about, right? Check this out. Regular, everyday stuff. Unbeknownst to me, and this is real, I didn't realize it, the bubbles in the Epsom salt leave little rings around the tub. So my wife one day was like, yo, did you take a bath? So I was like, yeah, I took a bath. Okay, cool. Can you do me a favor? There's little stuff here. On my fault, I didn't realize it. That's cool. I'm just saying next time clean it. I work really hard on these bathrooms. And I don't want to have to come the very next day after I clean the bathroom or the very same day I clean the bathroom. I'm not telling you there's anything wrong with the bath. What I'm saying is, damn, I just cleaned it. I got you. Cool. I get it. I understand. If I was the one cleaning the bathroom, I feel the same way, right? Now, at the same time, I'm a man. I got ego. Sometimes you look like, yo, she acts like I'm going in there trying to dirty the bathroom. That's real, right? That's real. It crosses your mind. But she has a point. So now I try to make some adjustments, not to be dishonorable, but to be respectful. How can I make it so that I don't create conflict, that she knows I'm in the bath and she's worrying that, yo, I just cleaned it. I said, you know what? She has to go to work and commute into work certain days out of the week. I'll take my bath during those days. Why? Less friction for me. She's not there. I know she's not going to see it. She's not worrying about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm not trying to be deceitful. I'm trying to create rhythms and habits and patterns where I don't disrupt her mood. And me, dirty in the bathroom, disrupts it. Cool. We're making adjustments. So now it's one of those days where she's commuting to work, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to take my bath. I'm going to make sure I clean it. I'm going to make sure I leave it exactly how it was so that you don't even realize I took a bath. That was my goal. Why? Less friction. I'm not trying to fight about a bath. That's simple what it is. But also, it's honorable that she asked me a very simple thing. Yo, when you're done with the bathroom, clean it, my G. That's all. So cool. I got the scrubber. I cleaned all around the edges. I looked and saw, oh, okay, I didn't even realize this was happening. This was going on. I cleaned everything, and I put everything back exactly how it was so that if you walked in, I mean, I even, after I cleaned it, I hand dried it. I don't want no problems. I don't want no friction. There's no reason to fight about a fucking bathroom, right? So she comes home, and we talk. When she comes home, we talk. Sometimes I follow up the stairs because I haven't seen her in a while, so we start talking. So I follow up the stairs. She goes into the bathroom, and I see her look into the bathtub. And right away, I'm like, fuck. You start thinking, damn, did I clean it right? Did I miss something? And boom, she's like, yo, did you take a bath today? Now, when she asks me this question, did you take a bath today? We've gone through the experience of what happens and why she might be asking this question. So naturally, I don't know if it's ego, pride, whatever it is, I process the question like, fuck, I might have missed something. So because I process it like, fuck, I might have missed something, I start to get defensive in my mind automatically. I don't want to fight, but also I don't want to hear about this because I'm entitled to take a bath. All these things start racing. And I could very easily say, nah, I didn't take a bath. And then I start to reflect about, did I put it back to look like nobody ever took a bath because I'm trying to hide it? Or am I doing it because I'm trying to ensure that I accommodate her? Because why not? That's my wife. So she's looking at me. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. And this is a straight up real moment of truth. I assess quick because this happens mad fast. I know you know this happens mad fast. And I'm confident that that bathroom is clean and it looks like it's never been touched. That if I say to her, nope, I didn't take a bath, that she's going to be like, all right, cool. It doesn't look like you did. And I can walk away. Or I could say, nah, I didn't. And she could say, yes, you did because you missed a spot and it creates a fight. But I'm going to debate. Nope, I don't want to be wrong. I want to make her wrong. All those things start happening. And then I remember, you got to be honorable. You got to be honorable. So I said, yeah, I took a bath today. I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. And if you've been in a marriage for 18 years, I think it's 18 years, right? 2008, we got married. 25, we've been together since 99. This is a moment of truth here. This could change the whole night. And then the night could change the morning. And you fighting for a week before you know it. Making eye contact. She looks at me and says, "Oh, okay, thank you. Because it looks like you did a good job cleaning it. I appreciate that." Imagine that. Imagine that. That I was prepared to say nah, that I was prepared to avoid it, that I did everything I could to ensure it didn't look like it. But really, the honorable thing is she tells me how she feels. I tell her how I feel. She tells me her truth. I tell her my truth. And then we agree or disagree. It's not about right or wrong. It's not about who is better or who's worse. It's just about, yo, this is my name, my legacy, my family. I'm supposed to protect her. I protect her by being honorable, telling the truth. And if my truth causes friction for her and her truth causes friction for me, we got to balance it. If the bathroom's dirty, I just fucking clean it. And if I didn't clean it good enough, I clean it better the next time. That's the answer. Anything else, and you might think this is trivial, anything else is friction. I don't want friction. I want to eliminate friction. The more honorable I am in everyday life, the more friction I remove. And now, in this way, when I update my system to always be honorable, no matter how small, no matter how big, and when I got a big project at work, when something goes wrong at work, when something goes right at work, when I make new connections, when I network and have new relationships, when I record and write, when I collaborate with the community here on the Do You rules, I can do so whether it's high, mid, or low, whether it's for short, medium, or long term, I can do so honorably. And the more I do it in the micro, the easier it becomes in the macro. Because I train myself to know I'm always honorable. Think about it for your life, your everyday life. Your everyday life, my beautiful people. Honor. Honor is the firewall that protects your system. Without it, your mission is always vulnerable. In this challenge, this is your proof. And we've said it. Most people will hear it and nod along and be hyped for a minute. But the real ones, my Do You rule creators or my Do You creators, the ones who are done with dishonoring their own name, they take action. 21 days of honor, 30 days of execution coming up in April. No gaps, all gas. No breaks, no hesitation. Because after April 1st, it's no longer about preparation. It is about survival. If you can't hold honor, you won't last in war mode.